And from the newsroom, we get to our first commentary on the program this morning, and it's a development in the relationship between Nigeria and South Africa that we found particularly interesting because on the surface, the numbers appear to tell us one thing, while the stories we continue to hear tells us something completely different now. South Africa's Consul General in Nigeria, Professor Bobby Moore, says applications for South African visas from Nigerians have almost doubled in recent months, and he's presenting that increase as evidence that Nigerians still see South Africa as an attractive destination for tourism, business, and other forms of travel. But this is happening at a time where concerns about xenophobic attacks against Nigerians and other African migrants in South Africa have certainly not disappeared. We have seen reports of attacks, businesses belonging to foreigners being targeted, migrants being displaced, and renewed arguments about the treatment of African migrants now. So how do we reconcile these realities? Nigerians are concerned about xenophobia, but Nigerians are still traveling to South Africa in significant numbers. It feels weird at the time now. So what is keeping that relationship alive is what many people are asking now. But then we think one of the first things we have to acknowledge is that the relationship between Nigeria and South Africa is much deeper than the headlines about xenophobia now. Sometimes we look at it from that angle, but there are also other issues that inform the decisions of Nigerians going to South Africa. These are two of the most influential countries on the African continent, and their relationship has developed over decades through politics, business, education, entertainment, tourism especially, and now migration. So Nigeria also played a very significant role during the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Nigeria provided diplomatic and financial support to the anti-apartheid movement and was one of the African countries that consistently pushed for international pressure against the apartheid regime. So when apartheid ended in 1994 and South Africa became a democracy, there was a strong expectation that relations between the two countries would grow even stronger as regards to the role Nigeria played in getting South Africa to where they are today. So Nigerians began traveling to South Africa in large numbers. South Africans' businesses expanded into Nigeria, and both countries became major economic and political partners. And that history is important because it helps us understand, and explain why South African, remains such an important destination for Nigerians, despite the problems that have emerged over the years. Johannesburg is one of Africa's major commercial centers. Cape Town attracts millions of tourists. South Africa has major universities, established industries, a sophisticated financial sector, and a huge entertainment market. So Nigerians also have family connections, business interests, professional relationships there. So when somebody hears about xenophobic violence in South Africa, that person may be concerned, but that does not necessarily mean they'll cancel their business plans, abandon their education, or decide never to visit the country again, especially the new wave of xenophobic attack that we have seen.
Well, Marian, thank you so much, for highlighting some of the towns in South Africa, and in fact, what Nigerians have been going for, whether it's tourism, whether it's business. It's important to, understand why, despite everything that's happening, we still have Nigerians, who are leaving the country and going to South Africa. And let's also be careful not to create the impression that every part of South Africa is experiencing the same level of hostility towards foreigners at every moment. Now, xenophobic violence has tended to occur in particular communities and during particular periods of heightened tension. That does not make the incident less serious, but it's important to distinguish between documented incidents and the perception that the entire country is permanently unsafe for foreigners. And that's why the statement from the South African Consul General is interesting. I mean, he's essentially saying that despite some of the concerns that are being raised, Nigerians are still voting with their feet. They're trooping out, to that country. They're applying for visas. They're making travel plans, and they continue to engage with South Africa. Well, let's hear exactly what Professor Bobby Moreau said. Well, we'll bring you his words and some of what he said in just a moment. Nobody should have a problem. I mean, his advice or his recommendation is that South Africa remains open for tourism, for business, for other legitimate forms of travel, and encourages Nigerians who intend to visit to obtain the appropriate visas and comply with the country's immigration laws. I mean, I'm not really sure with everything that's happening, and someone is really still giving you the advice to apply for visa and, you know, try to get into the country. Well, if you...
We saw the campaign from South African Tourism Department now using Trevor Noah as one of their influencers' voice to push that narrative forward, to say, welcome to South Africa. Come enjoy the food, enjoy the environment, the safari, you know, it's a destination for you and all. And he got questions to say, in the midst of you asking other Africans to leave your country, and now you're campaigning to say, come to South Africa. Who are you asking to come to South Africa?
You know, that conversation has always been about people who are undocumented migrants. But in an event where someone has followed the right procedure to apply for visa, to get the right documents, whether for business, for work, or whatever, and they're in the country, and they still become a target, would you still advise them to go to South Africa?
So I guess when this campaign rolled out, it would have been better to say, come to our country, but African countries, this is not for you. This is for the other non-African countries to come to our country. Because one way you're saying come to my country, on the other hand, your actions are saying do not come, but your words are saying come. So where do you put the people of the world, basically? Because when you say come to my country, it's an open invitation to everyone in every part of the world, including Africans. But your actions have shown to say, Africans leave my country, but other people from other regions are still in your country. And we know that not everyone, there are still illegal migrants from other countries in South Africa. So why is the pressure on Africans to leave your country?
And I mean, what are the cities? Because earlier we had said that it's not every part of South Africa where we have this happening. So where are the particular communities where it seems like the people there have been cultured in such a way that they see foreigners or other African nationals as their enemies?
As threats, taking their jobs,
so
their businesses.
Does it now fall to the government to set up some sort of orientation agency to now, because it's a thing of the mind, right? You know, to begin to recondition their mindset, you know, to be more open, to be more welcoming to, these are their brothers, literally. I mean, look at the number of Nigerians that were repatriated. Over 1,400 who were brought back.
I mean, about 5-6 batches.
That tells you the whole story. First of all, how many Nigerians are living in South Africa? So when you now bring back 1,400, it's almost as if you're saying, go back to your country, as they say.
As they say. But Nigerians still want to go there and enjoy the food, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the sights and all. We're not like that. We are very accommodating. So we do hope that these statistics that come out to say we have more numbers, you know, asking to come to South Africa, the visa number. But on the other hand, we have xenophobic attack going on in South Africa. So it feels like a contradiction is going on here.
Well, Nigeria also needs to look at its own responsibility in this relationship. Whenever Nigerians are attacked abroad, of course, the default reaction is anger. Oh, why are they treating us like this? Why are they doing all of that? But the long-term solution cannot simply be outrage every time something like this happens. There has to be sustained diplomatic engagement, better protection for Nigerians abroad, stronger mechanisms for reporting and responding to discrimination. And in fact, it brings us to an interesting part of the conversation, because visa applications have almost doubled. That figure tells us that whatever Nigerians may have as concerns about xenophobia, South Africa has not lost its appeal. I mean, what does that tell us? People are still interested in going. They still see opportunities there. They still have businesses to conduct. They have places to visit, sometimes money to make. So perhaps the real challenge is not stopping Nigerians from going to South Africa. Maybe, just maybe, the challenge is making sure that Nigerians who go there can do so safely and return home safely. There's a difference between saying a country is open and then proving that it is actually welcoming. You can't be saying something different, and then the actions of your citizens and your people are something entirely different altogether. Nigeria and South Africa are too important to each other for their relationship to be defined only by moments of crisis. But at the same time, friendship between governments should not mean ignoring the experiences of ordinary citizens. If Nigerians are traveling in increasing numbers, then that should be an opportunity for both countries to strengthen relationship, to improve protection for migrants, and make sure that movement of people become a source of economic opportunity rather than tension. And I mean, the big questions we're asking is, some of the questions we're asking, can Nigerians travel without fear? Can they conduct legitimate businesses without discrimination? Can South Africans live and work in Nigeria without being treated with hostility? I don't know, Miriam, but to the best of my knowledge, I've not heard any South Africans saying they were attacked, discriminated against, or made to feel some type of way for conducting their business in the country.
In the country, Nigeria. That's why I said, like the South Africans will say, it is not a collective voice that is saying we should leave. It's a small group of people who are asking, these African countries to leave because of their own perspective and their own bias. Now, it's not a representation of the entire country. So, but then we do hope that the government gets into this and peace, love, and unity is being restored between both countries, because we've all played role in our own side and from your own side to make sure that the unity we have is going. I mean, the diplomatic even relationship that we also have, it's going on. But Southie, we love you. Nigerians love you guys. We like to come there. So let's throw the arms open for us to, embrace.
Well, peace, love, and unity. And let me just put in mutual respect and accountability somewhere in that conversation.